That's not a bad picture. All right, so this is a live at 5, and I was down in the woods. I was getting black plastic to cover weeds, large amounts out there in the back of the terrace that need to be killed now, that are putting on seed heads that we don't want spreading on the property. Hello, shalom, Mrs. Hippie Hebrew, hello, and Grace Acre, shalom. Thanks for being a channel supporter. And there is Overwatch. Hello, shalom. I was picking up that black plastic in the Terex when I was chatting. Hello, Patty Sanchez. Shalom. Thanks for supporting the channel. There's Rob Painless. Hey. And the Greek Homestead. And EB. Shalom. And La Mesa Dave and Just Me. Thanks for all your comments lately, Just Me. There's Lamp Keeper. Hello, Sister Kate. Been a while since I caught you live. You and Gardner 67. You guys are usually on all the lives, and she hasn't made any lately either. She's been having some health issues. So anyway, I was in the middle of my woods trying to find my way around some trees in my Terex when I was also texting my daughter. My other daughter was having an illness. Her throat was really bothering her, and so we were texting her and giving her advice and everything. And then my youngest said, Queen Elizabeth died, by the way. And I went, whoa, that came kind of out of the blue. But of course, I've been off the news for a while now. Summertime, I'm so busy. I really don't have time to sit down and scan the news. Pastor gets up early every morning to do that. I don't. So I didn't know she was in poor health. I knew her husband had died recently. And I knew she had reduced her duties, which when you're 96 years old, yeah, maybe. I think she found her total identity in being the queen. And so I think, like, if I were her, I probably would have retired at age 70 and said, here you go, Charles, take over. But I think she really felt like that was everything to her. And so she kept working into her 90s, which is, to me, is astounding. But yeah, I didn't know, like, she had been ill recently. In the last photo they showed of her, she did look, darker in the face and definitely like she wasn't feeling well. So she has passed. And to all of my viewers, all like 2 of you, 3 of you in England and Scotland, condolences on the loss of your queen, and long live King Charles. And I'm saying that like in the community posts and everything because it's just simply tradition. That's what you say when the old monarch passes. Then long live the king is for the new monarch, and we can talk about that too. It's the middle of the afternoon. Obviously, I've been working hard all morning. I don't. If you see in my arms, they're grubby and dirty, and if I do this, it's mosquitoes. Although I doused myself with lemon balm. I went out to my lemon balm plant and just grabbed some leaves and rubbed it all over me, and it seems to work. Anyway, let me see if anyone has anything to say. I've got better reception now, so hopefully we won't see the thing. And Greek Homestead, I'm sure her death is going to have, be in the news in your country. It's pretty significant worldwide simply because she was a world leader for a long time. She was on the throne 70 plus years, which is the second longest in recorded history and the longest for England. She was the longest reigning monarch they ever had, which is pretty amazing to think about. She had a silver, a golden, a diamond, and a platinum jubilee, which is the anniversary of her coming to the throne. And each one stood for, and I don't know exactly what they are, like 25 years on the throne, 50, 75, and whatever. You know what I mean? Like they're there's a definition of them. There's a precedent for these marking these dates, and guaranteed Charles is not going to have all those. He's been waiting a long time to get on the throne, and he cannot be on that throne 70 years unless somehow they figure out how to, download people's brains into computers or something. He's only going to, because he's in his 70s now. I was going to look that up on Google, and I forgot to. He can only rule, probably 20 years. And Rob, if you are in contact with Wes and Aid, please give Aid my condolences too. I don't know if he's still in our country, but it would be a very weird thing for him to be here and that long reigning monarch to die while he's out of his country. That's probably a little weird for him if he's still here. All right, let's see what else is going on. No one's commenting? Not one of you is commenting? Can you still hear me and see me? Can I get like a thumbs up or a yes or something on there? I assumed I have service. I assumed you guys could hear me. I have 4 bars. Shows 33 of you here in the chat. 12 thumbs up. Some of y'all need to speak up. How's the service? Could just be the internet's very, very full right now. There's multiple live streams online, NBC News and BBC News, and I'm sure every news agency on the planet. This is going to be the hottest story for days at least. Even Al Jazeera is probably going to announce it. And there's probably going to be dancing in the streets of the Muslim countries who hate, the West, and saying, yeah, woohoo. And then there's probably even that many more countries that are going to be expressing condolences. Some of the Commonwealth nations will probably actually be like a national holiday of mourning. There are still 7 main countries, or were, that she was the ruler of, including Canada and Australia, Ceylon, South Africa for a while. I think they're independent now, but maybe not. New Zealand, and then there used to be a whole lot more countries in the Commonwealth, but slowly they've been like asking for and being granted their independence. India and other countries like that. Let's see. Nobody has said a thumbs up. Nobody has responded. It shows 38 of you in here. What do I need to do? I know you guys are out there. Let's see. What do I need to do? Maybe I need to hit top chat. Oh, there we go. There we go. There's Sarcastic Northman. There's a thumbs up. I guess I was supposed to have pushed something that said like top chat or something. That's so sad. Long live the king. It is sad. And Gardner 67 is here. Yay! Ohan says it's a distraction. It is a distraction, but it is also a historic. I did try to scroll down, Norm. I think there was something I didn't push. It is a historic event. I mean, even if you don't care about the leadership of any country, it's a very historic event. Like, it'll be down in the history books. Yes, we still see you. I'm trying to figure out if I need to plan for a new computer. There's some distortion going on in videos. It has me worried. Or maybe take it in and get it looked at. Gardner said, oh, we can hear you, JT Robinson. Loud and strong, good. I hear you and I see you, great. Thank you. Working while listening, 33 present, 13 like. King Charles was born in 1948, so he's 73. Thank you, Jacqueline. Serenity Haven Homestead. Yep, working my fence while listening. Be careful, JT Robertson. You're not brother JT, are you? We have been hearing you, says Patty. Lots of comments. There is Carl Sams. Good afternoon, Sister Kate. There's Charlie Kuhn, Overwatch, Jacqueline. I will let Aid know. Thanks for that. Will be interesting to see what his thoughts are. If he's willing to come online, I would love to hear what his things are. Comments. The sarcastic Northman gave me a thumbs up again. It's a shock she passed. Whiskey Fort Oscar Whiskey is here. EV. Shalom, shalom, shalom. Charlie is 73. Okay, so Nora, my condolences too. I don't know how you felt about or feel about the Queen, but it's a thing. Third of the earth at one time was a commonwealth under her, right? She has seen some very historic things in our entire century. She was born in 1926. She went to the throne at 52. She has seen the, World War II and all the aftermath and lived through all that. She has seen the rise and fall of communism, the Berlin Wall. She was visited 5 popes. She visited China. She visited Russia. She's had all kind of state dinners. She's given out all these awards, knighted people, received people, honored people. She's been the head of a state and she's been an active one. So she has so many things under her belt. Let's see. Jason Thomas Robertson. There's Hunter Kirk. Shalom from North Idaho. Warthog Survival here, Carl says. That's a channel name. The whole family pushes a very certain agenda, not just the green one. It's true, Greek Homestead. I mean, there's stuff going on over there, and I'm thinking, imagining that Charles is going to continue down that path. Kind of green, kind of left, liberal. It's a bad sign. There is Girl for Freedom. Shalom, Sister Kate. Charles is pushing the green agenda. Yes, he is. He's waving. Hi, JT. Empire is different from Commonwealth. Right. I think I was talking about Empire then, and Commonwealth is looser, if I know. Charles is my age. Glad I don't have his job. Right, just me? The thought is kind of frightening. Dog days here with the snakes, says Gardner 67. Yeah, I saw a copperhead the other day while I was weed whacking. And I thought, I need to be more careful when I'm scrambling around the rocks. And there was a scorpion in the longhouse the last time we were in there too. I'm definitely buying a flash drive tomorrow to put my book on. I die of a heart attack if I lost that. Yeah, absolutely, Lame Keeper. Taking a break and grabbing a snack before heading to work some more. Yeah, I was on a break having lunch when I decided I'd better do a live stream. Hey, Scotty John. Only because this kind of moment will not come again in this century. Well, and I'm thinking of the old century. We're in the 22nd year of this century, but I really, unless Thailand's king lasts a really long time, or there's a Saudi prince who takes over and he's 20 and he's going to live a long time. It's just a very historic moment. It's just so many things that meet in her lifetime that define her generation. And actually, I'm a generation or two behind her, but I remember her. I've seen her in the news and remember when her sons were little and then grew up and got married, and when Princess Diana was all over the news and setting haircut trends and going to a gym and working out, and that made a lot more people go to gyms and work out, and her death and everything. I mean, she's interwoven in the fabric of humanity. Ohan said the real Iron Woman, right? And then he thumbs up. Right? She was an ambulance driver in World War II, and one of her first duties, they were talking about this on the news. She was born in a private home. Royals did not go to hospitals when she was born in 26. And then she did not go to public school, unlike her, the grandkids and Wills and Harry and everybody going to regular. I mean, they were upper elite kind of pay some money to go to schools, but they were with other people, not just royals in those schools. That's where Wills met his wife Kate. She didn't go to university. She was educated at Buckingham Palace, and then her first foray into public life was volunteering for something. It would probably be the equivalent of our Red Cross or something, but that's how she started. She didn't just, be born a royal and then get to sit around sipping tea her whole life. She was pretty much starting into her volunteering and serving as a young woman. Let's see other comments. I know there's more comments. Where are they? Overwatch says, same here. I'm 65. She was hatched at the palace. She was not hatched at the palace. She was hatched at a private residence in Mayfair. PJD. Shalom, Sister Kate from Darren. And Paula Joe Davis in Northeast Missouri. Sad to hear the Queen has passed. I'm not thrilled about Charles, but it is what it is. Yah is sovereign. Shalom and blessings. Well, thanks for your comment. I have a little tablet computer for backup, but I don't like it. The one I'm working over is 6 years old. My computer's old too. My mom was a big fan, watched her coronation on TV in 62. My mom too, JT. Norm said, Charlie is an airhead. Her biography will be fascinating, and it'll be full of important days. Good to see you, Leah. There's Huckleberry Holler, Leah. I really enjoyed seeing your comment the other day. Her biography. Charlie is an airhead. Gardner agrees. His wife is even more of an airhead, said Patty Sanchez. Patty, I think she is, but I also think she's pretty smart because she was his girlfriend / lover in his young days, and she got her hooks in him early. And they have family history because, like, one of her great-great-grandmas was a lover to one of the other kings of her day. And so they had a little, mystery backgroundy stuff going on, and he was still in love with her when the Queen said, you're going to marry Diana. And so that's how Camilla, she just lurked around in the background, meeting up and having relations with this guy until Diana dies, and now she can come to the forefront and be his wife. I don't know what to say, Norm. I don't know enough about Charles. I mean, the media here portrays him as not very bright and kind of goofy, but he can't have done and been around the people he's been and around this whole time and just be a total airhead. I mean, he's got to know some stuff about his country and other countries, I would think. Okay, back here. She's doing the lizard. You think he's a lizard person? Oh, and thanks for supporting the channel, too. 2 of my Ree's female cousins were presented to the Queen before they stopped that rite of passage. Wow. Your cousins were very privileged. When I was very young, I remember having a crush on Prince Charles, watching on the TV. Well, sure. I mean, he's a real prince, right? And he was not hideous in his young days. And he also got to do some pretty cool stuff, be on yachts and go to parties and wear fancy clothes. I thought Wills was kind of cute when he was younger, but Harry was really my thing, is I like redheads. My brothers are redheads. But then eventually they all kind of, when they get older, they get that horse face thing, and it's like, meh. Wes said Aid is sleeping. Wes, you might want to wake him up and tell him the Queen has died. It's kind of important. Especially to an Englishman. Did you guys party all night? Is that why you're making those comments? Charles was chopping at the bit to be king. for a long time. There's Franklin Farmstead. Hey, I really do want to hear y'all's opinions about what you think this means. I know I keep repeating what I think, but I am interested. I mean, if you say, "Hey, they're the British royalty," I could care less. I get that too. I mean, in America, we don't have royalty. Our royalty are rich people, or sports figures. Excuse me. So, did Elizabeth II's reign last longer than Victoria's? Yes. D.L. Hemingway. Yes, it did. I think Victoria's second, and she's now first, and she's second longest monarch reigning in world history, recorded world history. The king of Thailand was one also. He was very long reigned. Isn't important though, says Charles has been doing a lot behind the scenes of late. I believe it. He is a male, so therefore he is portrayed as handicapped. Isn't important though. See, Palmetto Paratrooper, I am not surprised you're going to say that, because in your mindset, leadership really is not to be trusted and it doesn't really matter. And to a certain extent, I agree. It is important because he's a world king. King Charles is now a world leader. England still has a lot of influence on its empire members and its Commonwealth members, and has influence in Europe. And the fact that they left the European Union was politically and economically interesting, because they're kind of a power player. And so that leaves those other European nations dependent, on each other. And the strong man in that pile is Germany, I think. I'm not saying it will affect any of us personally that he's the king, but it's definitely politically and historically interesting, at least not to me. Okay, Alhan says, not a fan of her, but I have to admit she was a total badass. Will Charles have the throne all that long? He's in his 70s, yes, says Deal. Right, no, he can't have the throne that long. He's going to be on there 20 to 30 years, depending on how long he lives, and maybe not even that long if he decides he wants to abdicate to wills. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, says Engineered to Succeed. Do you think the politics might change, this being a major change for UK? Absolutely could. Could swing the whole country farther left. They haven't really been far right since Margaret Thatcher. So it could be very interesting with China a rising power and with Russia right on the doorstep. The fact that the Solomon Islands were lost as a port for Australia, I think it was Australia, had a port there, and they lost the contract or whatever, is a sign that China is gaining influence in third world countries. And a lot of it comes from their money, which Walmart is one of their biggest, like everything in Walmart is made in China now. So Walmart is supporting the Chinese economic growth, and therefore fueling their ability to go bribe places like the Solomon Islands. It can be very political, these things. Okay, constitutional monarchy in Great Britain. Correct. You have a parliament, right? You have a parliament. And so she really was sort of a figurehead. I think she didn't have as much say in politics, and yet she still had some influence, certainly culturally and socially. And probably on the politicians too. There was probably some interaction there. But Norm, please give us facts, whatever you know better. Louis XIV is the longest. And wasn't he the Sun King? I had the same feeling towards Charles as I did with Bobby Sherman. Laugh out loud. Bobby Sherman? You mean the musician? The horse tack. My horse tack like that. 2, very long reigned. Met well into his 70s. Yeah, he's 73, DL. Hey, McMikey, shalom. Long time no see. JDE 4472 says Prince William will be a great king. Well, he and his wife certainly are following in the footsteps of royals who intend to be ruling, doing public service, traveling to different Commonwealth countries. He did the what is the name of those games? Doggone it! Now I can't remember it. It's for handicapped people. He did a whole thing, the something games. I can't remember. They're well liked. Kate is a beautiful woman. She's out there doing things too. She's being seen, going to schools and opening places, and just. Is it Harry or William next in line? It is William. Rob Painless. Amazes me that so many people here in the U.S. are in love with the royals and wish that we had a royal hierarchy here as well, like Old Testament times when they craved having a king. Right? It's sort of, Rob, that's the cultural part. It's almost like a fantasy. Like they can live through the royals and just, admire them from afar. And so that's what I'm saying. Like we have musicians and we have sports figures and movie stars, and that's our royalty. Interesting fact though, Colonial Williamsburg in Virginia was a British colony and still has an obligation for a member of the royal family to come visit it every once in a while. And so we had a friend who coincidentally, his name was Rob, and he was working there because his family lived in the area as a waiter at a restaurant in Colonial Williamsburg, and Prince Charles came and visited to fulfill that obligation while he worked there. And he actually said something to my friend, I can't remember what it is now, but something polite. He was, it's very formal when they come. They have people to meet them and tell them where to sit, and then there's certain things they're supposed to say or give a plaque or whatever. So Prince Charles did the things he was supposed to do, but I found that very interesting. I did not know that about our country. Queen Elizabeth was of the opinion that she shouldn't express her personal opinions in public. Charles is the extreme opposite attitude. Right. She was very reserved. She was very old school. And she didn't reveal a lot, even in her answers. And she was kind of sarcastic. She had a little bit of a tweak streak where she tweaked the person who asked her questions. King Louis XIV reigned 72 years, 110 days, and Queen Elizabeth 70 years, 214. She is the second longest reigning royal. Correct. Thank you, Denise. And I think Louis XIV is the Sun King, the one who made Versailles and all that. Hey, Shalom, Soapy Acres at Homestead. How is the death of the Queen affecting things there in Canada? Is it all over your news and everything? Sarah Hoskins, total guilt trip. I just left Walmart. Why is that a guilt trip? Oh, because of China. Yeah, I know. It's hard to... I get my yogurt there because they're the only ones who carry it around here. Has UK ever changed prime ministers and had a succession at the same time before? Palmetto Paratrooper said. I think that's something you're going to have to Google. I don't know. Maybe around World War II time, but I really don't know. Charles is also pro-Muslim and also obsessed with the climate, green energy, and all that. Yes, I did know that. I find it interesting that he would be pro-Muslim, but look at, they call London Londistan these days. So a good part of the Commonwealth countries were Muslim. Uh, Pakistan, parts of India. Um, they have a, a not a professional, but the leadership relationship with places like Saudi Arabia and Jordan and things like that. Rob, and now a customer is coming over to meet with me, so I have to go. At West, customer equals Reese business meeting. Well, good luck with that, Rob. Thanks for being here for a little while. The monarch is a political no say in parliament. Okay, Norm, thank you. Lee Means, good to see you. Good to see you're here, and thanks for supporting the channel. With Elizabeth passed, perhaps we should offer England and the rest of the UK statehood, DL said. I laugh out loud. Yeah, you can be the 51st state. Special Olympics, yes, Lampkeeper, but it's got a name. Coach TP. I don't know. China has a massive debt problem. Their market is highly dependent on their domestic real estate market, which is about to collapse. Well, we'll see what happens. They're still getting fed Walmart money, and it's helping build all their technology and everything. If it doesn't rule, it isn't a king. Well, there's the cultural and social side, Wes. It's nice having a figurehead to represent your country. Charles will be the next king. The royals already made that statement. Yeah, Charles basically is king as soon as she passes. That's how their rules work. And she abdicated to him in the past. So it was understood as soon as she passed, he becomes king. You can't have a space there in between where no one is the royal monarch. The Greek comes said, but Yahweh didn't want the Hebrews to have kings. No, he didn't. He wanted them to have prophets, and they demanded a king. And so he gave them one, but he warned them ahead of time. He said, the king is going to do things like take your wood and your sons and make them work for him and all that other stuff. It's definitely not a Hebraic model. Invictus Games. There you go. I knew one of you guys would know. That's exactly it. They called it the Invictus Games. I remember going to Williamsburg as a child. Yeah, it's a cool place. Lots of history there. If we have a king queen who recognizes they are under the authority of God, then there's no problems with monarchy. If you want a theocracy, but if you're a person who doesn't believe in religion or royals, you don't want either one. And there's plenty in America who don't want either one. Big difference between William's education and the queen. Absolutely right. And that's partially from Diana. Diana sort of broke from tradition. And among the royals, before Diana showed up, Queen Elizabeth's sister, Margaret, was kind of a celebrity. She smoked and drank and partied and wore really nice clothing. And then Charles's sister, Anne, I believe it's Anne, she was a horsewoman. She had some fame for competing in Olympics and doing things like that, but nobody captured the real worldwide media attention in the family like Diana. When she showed up, suddenly it was, bigger than life. Okay. Yes, Bobby Sherman. I was young. What can I say? Right up there with the monkeys. Laugh out loud. I must admit, I'm impressed with William and Kate more than Charles and Camilla. Girl, I know exactly what you're talking about. I know who Bobby Sherman was. He had that long hair thing and he used to flip that. And who else did you mention? The monkeys? Yes. There was a TV show with the monkeys on it. Hey, well, the monkeys. People say we're monkeying around. They were kind of cool. They were kind of pre-Beatles. They were all, yeah. Charles and Camilla are almost, their generation is right on the brink of being decrepit too. And I hate to say that. I'm not, dude, I'm right behind them. So it's not me hating on them. It's just a practical reality that they're already in their 70s. So of course, Wills and Kate are going to be much more popular to the whole part of the country that's younger. Okay. Someone's texting me, but I'm going to have to wait to answer. King Charles is a regular at the World Economic Forum. Yeah, they're tied in economically. They got lots of money. So would William be the fourth or the fifth? Good question. I don't know. Yes, craving a king. And how did that work out in the Old Testament? Usually it was a lot of trouble. And then you run into that long string of kings where you had a good king, then a bad king, then a good king, then a bad king. That has to be, very difficult as a subject to go from one to the other. I didn't even know, says Soapy Acres. Well, yeah, QE2 died today, darling. You need to get on your news and see. I'm sure it's going to affect Trudeau. He's probably going to have to go over for the funeral. And the coronation will probably be like 6 to 9 months after because they've got to plan all the stuff. No offense to anyone, but I don't want a British hierarchy. We already went down that path. We fought the British and now the elites. Girl freedom. Well, I wasn't going to say that, but you said it, and you're absolutely right. Like the early Americans who what am I trying to say? Started the American Revolution did not agree with the way the monarchy was treating them. And that's when they decided, nope, we have an individual right to freedom. And so we are going to fight the monarchy. And it wasn't just in the revolution in 1776 to 83. It was also the War of 1812. England tried to come back and take us over again, and we fought them off a second time. So yes, we Americans stubbornly want to be independent, but we have our own struggles with our very, very, very rich people because they always have a lot of power because of their money, and they don't always use it wisely. This is the first I'm hearing of it, but where she was our head, then yeah, I'm sure there will be a lot of hoopla. I'm sure there will be. And a lot of if Trudeau doesn't go to her funeral, then they're going to send whoever your second in command over there is. Sorry that I don't know your hierarchy. Sometimes heads of state don't go to funerals like that because if you get too many of them in one place, it's a target for terrorists to take out a bunch of them at once. Got to go. My mother and Dan are pulling up the hill. I just know she's wanting to see my head stitches. She thinks she knows better than a doctor. Much love to you and crew. All right, Gardner. Shalom. Okay. A lot of your founding fathers were Scottish, said Norman Harlan. They sure were. They were Scots and Irish. They fled the British, came here, saw our Appalachian Mountains and said, yep, that'll work, and hung out there. You're absolutely right. When did she pass, says Lee? Today. She died approximately this morning. Get a potato. That's what USA is using to represent now. We're going to send a potato to the funeral. We'll put it in a little uniform. It can have a cell phone. The only thing happening, JRB, alive now, is someone wants Harris to be president. That is correct. That would be horrifying. A baked potato fully loaded. We're too busy singing to put anybody down. We're an old group. Man, if we can sing the lyrics of the Monkey song. I remember the Monkeys too. I was a kid in kindergarten or first grade back then. It was a cool little show. It was very silly, but yes, too busy singing. I was in the fourth grade. I don't remember when that came out. We're probably about the same age. Hello from Wales, UK. Sisyphus. Sisyphus, what do you think about the death of the Queen? Good to catch you live. Shalom, chat. Yeah, absolutely, McMikey. Amy E. She did allow her son Andrew to get away with being a pedophile. So that's super, super gross. And I'm here to tell you she probably didn't pay a lot of attention. He's a grown-ass man. She probably didn't pay a lot of attention to him flying around and whoever he hung out with. She probably just said, don't embarrass the family. Don't get us in the newspaper. And he probably was abused as a kid or something, has a pathological, because you would think if you're a prince of England, you're highly visible. You'd think he'd behave himself. So I think there's a lot going on there, and it is super gross. Thinking that the funeral would be a huge high value target for some country. Exactly right. And Pastor and I were talking about this aspect of it. They have an MI5, which is one of, I don't remember which one. MI5 and MI6 are their intelligence agencies. One of them is for England and one of them is for worldwide stuff. And both of them are going to be scrambling like mad. They probably already had plans drawn up for what we do at her death, but it would have to be flexible because things change. What the heck? I hear a lot of crashing and banging up the road there. Wonder what that is. Anyway, they probably already had plans, but the plans have to change daily on a security level, because terrorists can decide, oh, this is a day, and hijack a plane, and that will change the whole perspective on how you're going to do security for this funeral. You're going to have all these royals there. You're going to have other heads of state there. Where are they going to stay when they come? How long are they going to be in country? How many security people do you have to send to them? Do they need a detail? Are they going to bring one with them? Getting them through customs, all that. It's going to require a lot of planning. And so the coronation, the actual, put the crown on the head thing, is going to be months from now. How many Rolls Royces are we going to have to get Rolls Royce to let us borrow so we can chauffeur everybody around? You know what I'm saying? Target for terrorists. Oh, please, no, Trudeau, please do not go. Hey, now. McMikey, whether you're a royalist or not, it will have massive impact on the UK and the Western world. Agreed, Sisyphus. You have Scottish heritage. Yes, we do have some family that is sort of British Scottish in our background. Russells and Coles. Some of my potatoes had common scab. Looks bad, but peels off, unlike your potato. Our potatoes, my real potatoes, rotted. They had fungus in the middle because it was too warm here. I will never forget the video of the naked boy hanging out of the window of Buckingham Palace. I don't know that I saw that, Lamb Keeper. Where did you see that? Andrew was her favorite child, I think. Ugh, that's a problem, too. You spoil him. But he's a grown man. Good time to make a museum piece and relight the idea of a constitutional republic across the pond. Totally up to you all to be a beacon on the other hill of Europe. MI5 is for England. It's the local. It's like our FBI. And MI6 is the foreign. Yeah, that's what I thought. Hang on, you guys. Gotta tell PJ. I just heard a whole bunch of clanking and mechanical stuff right up the road there. I don't know what's going on. Maybe they got another trailer or something. There is Tim Dunnigan. Shalom. Any comments on QE2 and Charles? I would agree plans are in place.
Well, if I know Tim, I know he's very concerned.
Is he? Tim's all about the Royals and everything?
He's all about the Royals. That's all he ever talks about.
That's all he ever talks about. Yep. What else? What else was I going to say?
Shalom, y'all.
Yeah, that's PJ. About to upload another video, Matt?
Yes, ma'am. I'll get out of your hair.
It's okay. It's fine. Something Sisyphus said, and I was going to address that.
Sisyphus?
Yeah, somebody from UK's on here. Man, hopefully I'll think of it again. Also, if you want to have any more idea, check out the 5 to 10 minute video on Operation London Bridge. Will show what's happening the next couple of weeks. Oh, yeah, that's it. 15 minutes, 60 minutes. Australia did a story on possible plans for when Queen Elizabeth passed, and that was pretty recent. It was a pretty good story.
See, they have contingency plans. You should have contingency plans. That's where I'd take it.
Everyone should have contingency plans. Yeah, I'm sure you've already talked about it on a video. Your enemy always gets a vote in your plans. That's right. Hoping they are using electric limos. Are you having problems with pumpkins putting female flowers? Nope. All our squashes are doing okay. I don't have any pumpkins. It will be interesting to see how green they make it. Ugh. Warthog Survival said, go get him, PJ. Maybe they'll all ride bicycles. I think horse-drawn carriages would be quaint. It's on YouTube. May have some searching on the internet because they suppress so much stuff now. Overwatch said he saw that video. Wes says, Shalom, Pasture Joe. Shalom, PJ. There's Aid. Hey, Aid. Did Wes wake you up? We want to know what you think. QE2 passed today. That's right, PP. No, PJ has never talked about contingency plans. Oh, Batman. Uh-huh. Evie and Wes and Aid. Let's keep our eye on the chat for a little while. Speaking of gardens, mine this year has not done well at all, but had a great harvest last year. Well, hopefully you were able to put some of your harvest up. My garden is still producing. It's just not producing tons all at the same time, but we've had like 2 or 3 squash this week, and we've already eaten most of them. Charles and Biden will make a hell of a pair, says Lee. I agree with that, Lee. Not that comment, Wes, but it's okay. Speaking of gardens, mine this year, oh, that's right. The Tribesman, Shalom, PJ, and SK. Well, he just came in from it, Wes said. No, that's not what I'm talking about. You'll see, just be on your guard. All right, I should crochet Queen Elizabeth for Tim. Well, there you go. Wouldn't that be cute? There's Mike Liparachi. Haven't seen or heard from you in a long time, brother. How you doing? My contingency fund is all tapped out between the hubby's broken elbow and the truck needing an oil change. I hear that, Lamp Keeper. See, that's what I'm talking about there, Wes. Hi, Fake Viking. Bye. Canned and sold lots, still in the pantry. Excellent, Serenity Homestead. Supposed to harvest some seed I planted 9 months ago in about 3 days. What kind? It was jumping fast. There you go. Thank you. Worst harvest I've had seen starting several years back, Brandy Hay. Having to buy tomatoes to can. That is really sad. And you know, Brandy, I feel your pain. I have been I very seldom buy tomatoes at the store. I just can't stand the flavor. And I know people are growing them in greenhouses, and I give people credit for that because wintertime, it's not easy in a large part of our country to grow tomatoes, right? So greenhouse is a smart alternative. It's not their fault, or it is partially their fault, that the tomatoes taste like glue. I want tomatoes in the summertime. It's one of the things I plant, and yet it's really hard to get them to grow here because they get attacked by so many things. And I've had, I think, 3 or 4 tomatoes this summer. They weren't even that big, and I was so grateful to have them. We had a turkey, bacon, lettuce, and tomato sandwich. That's one of the flavors of summer that I love, but I'm not going to do it with store-bought tomatoes. I'm only going to do it. Now, if someone was selling them on the side of the road and I knew they grew them themselves, like an Amish supermarket or something, yeah, I'll go buy them. But it's very disappointing not to have any tomatoes to can this year, and I'm just not going to do it. I'm not going to go buy them because I know in our area everything's coming from, you know, a greenhouse, a store. But I'm happy for the ones I get. I just love fresh tomatoes. Palmetto paratrooper human. Missed him, dang it. Well, somebody got him. Aid got him. Good job, Aid. Quick on the trigger. We did pretty well given this is the first year here. We are in the woods and made the garden on the driveway. That's right, your garden. Sylvia Akers, I posted her garden video on my channel. She had a pretty good garden, and they had just moved into that place when it was time to plant. So their garden looks good and produced a lot. Obviously, Sophie, you know what you're doing. Franklin Farm said we bought tomatoes from the Amish. Awesome. My son gets to do that too. There's an auction nearby. Just did a long rant on people such as that. Many people complain about having the worst harvest in years. What is happening? Well, for us, it was the weather. Honestly, we had about a month-long drought that really whammied a lot of our plants. But in my area, I'm not complaining about that because a lot of the natural stuff that grows here anyway, like the passion fruit, are doing fine now. We've had some rains. Excuse me, it's getting colder at night. There's not as many bugs. And so I've never had a hugely producing garden. I'm just not that great of a gardener. I always plant stuff, but I'm very neglectful, and I'm like, well, you sink or swim, plant, it's on you now. This year, because I'm using the rabbit manure, I have much healthier plants, and I'm getting more off my plants. So in the future, like next year's garden, I intend to have put down rabbit manure on all the beds instead of piecemeal doing it now. And I expect there to be an even better harvest. Also, I've learned to use those black plastics, which are not cheap. It's pretty expensive to buy a 10 by 25 foot one. But if you lay them down, it really helps to just kill everything down, and then you don't have to go out and hand weed. So I intend to use them more next year's garden too. I haven't heard any statement from put in on Her Majesty the Queen passing. BBC and NBC are running stuff right now. There's a lot of stuff live about it. Zucchini and yellow squash are going like crazy now this summer, but awful due to the dry heat. I missed him too, Wes. I think my connection is slow today. SK, I went to a farm close to me and they were doing duck aquaponics, and I thought of you guys because I know you love your ducks. Yeah, and I've tried using their water on plants and stuff, but it's not as fast acting as the rabbit manure. We are having a bad drought and heat wave in the USA. We had an all right tomato harvest. We ended up with 4 cans of salsa. 4 cans of salsa is better than I'm going to get, Westhold, this year. The Tribesmen. Monty Judah, Lion and Lamb Ministries, had an interesting video several years ago concerning Prince Charles. Yeah, the thing about Monty Judah is he made some prophecies that didn't come true, and so I'm not as excited about him. Also, Lion and Lamb, I don't know. We were trying to find that in the word whenever the lamb lays down with a wolf, not a lion. But whatever, it doesn't matter. There are theories out there about Prince Charles, and they could be true for all I know. The older I get, the shorter my concern radius is. We had a horrible growing season. Did you know groundhogs climb trees and eat apples? Bigger concern than outside my bubble. 1, no, I did not know that. But 2, Leah, I did know that deer will come and eat your pears and stuff when they're perfectly ripe off the tree. Way high up in the limbs. I can only assume they climb up in there to get them. Also, I think a chipmunk ate some eggs out of my coop, so I'm going to have to figure out, maybe live trapping this chipmunk. Either that or now I have a raccoon in my orchard, which is always a concern and needs to be rehomed. So I'm with you. I just like talking about stuff. I'm worried we will lose our tomatoes to frost. I pray that the frost hold out until October. Okay, so I have a a little gardening tip for you. Soapy Acres. Something my mom told me, and it works. If you cut the tomatoes, if they're green, you can cut the tomatoes. Make sure you keep vine with it. Don't just pull the tomatoes off, but cut with vine attached. If you put them in a paper bag, they will ripen. Now, when I do it, I'm very, I just stick them all in a bag and then I don't check on them for a month or two. Some of them rot, at least for me living off grid where the house temperature goes up and down. But if you keep your eye on them, I've had tomatoes go into December. So if you are going to have a frost coming and they're still green, take them off the vine. Just cut the vine and put them in a paper bag and they will ripen. Our focus should be to grow calories. Well, yes, that's true too. You could also try, wrapping your plants, but that's really hard. Soapy. Yep, and squash is a good calorie thing. Zucchini is $1.50 each and cucumbers $1 each since last winter in the grocery. No lower price when in season. Oh, I'm haven't bought any cucumbers in a while because our the one cucumber plant that was planted in the raised bed garden, which had a whole bag of rabbit manure in it, is going gangbusters right now. And so we're getting enough cucumbers that we haven't had to buy any. And again, I will buy squash in the store if we don't get any, but we've had just enough that, like this morning, for breakfast, I had bought some chicken pancit at a Filipino store in the area, restaurant, and it was too salty. And so Pastor was like, I don't want to eat it like that. And so I said, all right, I'll dress it up a little. And one of the things I did was saute some squash and kale and banana peppers and carrot, and then stir it into the pots and add some more chicken to it. So we had some of our own squash this morning at breakfast time. Okay, Brandy. Luckily, I got these from the farmer down the road, $17 a bushel. That's a great price. Nah, we don't know what we're doing. We just wing it and pray for the best. Oh, come on, Soapy. At least try it. Gotta go and do work. Be safe, everyone. You be safe too, Serenity. How horrible is it that I think, oh, the queen dies, but the cucumbers had fungus? We're such callous Americans, right? The queen died, but are my goats doing okay? Is Oregon Berry here? I didn't see him come on. Hey, Oregon Berry. Yes, that's all I keep hearing and seeing locally. Everyone's saying their gardens have done poorly with a few exceptions. Well, all those potatoes I harvested got the fungus and died, so I'm not happy about that. One matters to your life and one doesn't. Sad she passed, but it doesn't change my life, right, McMikey? It's not going to affect a person personally unless they have some kind of personal connection to her. My squash, zucchini, peppers went crazy. Still going. Tomatoes, meh. Luckily, I planted 30 plants. Cucumbers and okra, not so good. Will it ever see the Epstein client list, or is it gone forever? McMikey, I think that's the question of the decade. Why aren't we seeing it? They keep saying, oh, well, there's a few folks on there. Bill Clinton was on there, and Donald Trump took a few trips on the plane, and Prince Andrew took multiple trips. Okay, who else, right? Which senator, which congressman, which sports figure? Wes says, kill the chipmunk and feed the ducks. Rehome complete. They're tricky little boogers, Wes. I don't know if you knew that, but probably like prairie dogs, chipmunks don't spend a lot of time on the surface. They've got like 30-foot long tunnels under the ground and only occasionally pop up. So I'm going to have to get my live trap and put an egg in it and see if I catch it. Groundhogs do climb trees quite well. I lived at a place and used to watch them daily. They also love to climb to the tops of kudzu and eat the tender new leaves. Oh, that's a good thing for anyone who lives in the American South. Man, you need to get the groundhogs on that kudzu issue. Chipmunks chewed the gas line on my mother's car. They're sneaky little buggers. They sure are, and they're actually omnivores. And so they will eat things like baby birds and mice and other animals. Like they're not just a nut chewing little fellow. They're like tiny little bears. Kudzu would be welcome here in North Carolina. Kudzu eaters, they absolutely ripen. They don't taste as good as they do when they ripen outside. It's engineered. I thought they tasted okay. A groundhog in a tree sounds like an easy target to me, says Mikey. Well, you can't just go plinking anywhere you want. There could be a season for groundhog. Agreed. Hang on. Regarding L and L, just interesting. Stay focused on the mark of Yah, so it shouldn't matter. Rabbit manure is good stuff. We have a rabbit for that very reason, plus it makes a good pet for the kiddos. Nice. Okay. Do you know how I know Trump wasn't on the Epstein list? Because if he was, the mainstream media would have already published it, said Westhold. I thought I saw it online somewhere. But it wasn't like nearly the same. It was like a couple of times, not the same. So they could have just been talking business. You know, I don't think Trump's interested in children that way. He's married 3 grown-ass women. So my give a darn has been busted for decades when it comes to the queen. That's funny. Got to go back to work. Shalom. Love to you guys. Shalom, Ohan. SK, you asked earlier how he's doing, and my answer is I've had a strong urge to get baptized, but I have trouble with the logistics. I live in a power wheelchair. I'd like to do it in living water. I think probably there'd have to be a floaty or something involved there, McMikey, and you'd have to get someone near you, which is totally possible. Like, I don't know if you have lakes near you or rivers or whatever, but I would think you would have to go from power wheelchair to some sort of floaty thing, because you're supposed to get totally immersed. I don't know. Just need to figure out the how exactly. And some churches have their baptismal, but that's not what you want. You could also try getting to an ocean if you're near one. There's groundhogs all over North Carolina. Still kudzu everywhere. You need to bring in some more goats and sheep too, North Carolina. I saw kudzu as far north as Pittsburgh, PA. We are overrun with raccoons that ate the head and one of our roosters. Dogs chased it up a tree, and there it had its final rest. Yeah, raccoons are really something. When they figure out there's, free food running around and corn and all sorts of stuff, they aren't stupid. And they want to stay and continue eating your eggs and your birds and everything. And so that's why I like to try to catch them and get them out of here. Trump is a playboy. He's not interested in kids. Ask for prayers that it comes to be soon. Absolutely, Mikey. I was diagnosed with a bummer of a tick disease, so all my vine crops had borer worms. Are you the one who was telling me the something gal disease or whatever? And are you trying to say borer worms? Because we have borer worms here that, YMCA with a wheelchair lift in the pool is a possibility, but I don't know that a YMCA pool would be considered living water, Westhold, but it's not a bad idea. I'll include you in my prayers. Gotta go. Just stop for a quick lunch. Have a great day. Shalom. Abaruch. Well, thanks, tribesman. As soon as we kill groundhogs, the government will come out with a limit. Right now, we are restricted to catching 1 flounder a day. The South will rise again, and this time we're taking the North with us. One idea was to switch to a manual wheelchair and get rolled down a boat ramp. That might work too, as long as that manual wheelchair is under control. Because boat ramp, you've got gravity working. And so if your hand slip or anything like that, you're going to keep rolling. You need a safety line, I think. But that is a possibility. Just roll you down and pull you back up. If you have any Navy, what am I trying to say? It's not a base, a naval base near you. They might be able to help too. It'll happen if we can keep the central bankers out of control in the South. McMikey says, I float. You do float. But you know what I'm saying. Like, you have to go all the way under and come back up. So if you have any Navy bases near you, they may have an idea, since they do a lot of water stuff, and they might be willing to help out a person who needs help, especially if they had a SEAL team or something. Raccoons and chickens are brutal. Yeah, I lost a chick down at the orchard. There was that one little brown chick, and all the rest of them are now pretty good size. And it was getting to be good size. And then I went down there to lock them up one night, and it's just not there. And there had been a hen down there who had 6 chicks, and 2 of them were little white fluffs. They were really cute. And I was going to lock up on an evening down there, and I saw the little cute white one running around the coop. Some of the other birds were already in it, and I'm talking about the big coop where the ducks used to be. And it went around the back and did not come out the front, and I could not find it. I don't know what got that chick, because for a snake to have grabbed it that quickly, that time of day, was highly unusual, but not impossible. And there were crows flying around, and I swear that crows nabbed it. They hang out down there. That's why I got that cheesy scarecrow down there, because I've caught them hanging around in the trees yelling. And one day when I went down there, all the hens were in the middle of the blackberry brambles, and one of the hens was screaming her head off, and the crows were all in the trees around them. And when I showed up, and the crows flew away, and then the birds came out of the blackberry. So I'm wondering, if those daggone crows didn't grab the little white chicks, because they were easy to see. And when that little chick disappeared, I didn't hear anything, and I didn't see anything. Now, I admit I was not watching it exactly. I saw it run around the back, and then I did something up front, probably put the lid on the trash can where the food is. But it was no more than a few minutes that I turned around, and that bird was completely gone. So 2 may carry into the ocean is a possibility, says Scrappy Cat. I'm in Southwest Missouri Ozarks. Lots of water nearby. Good. And you can probably get some brethren too. There's a lot of brethren in the Ava and Springfield area. Franklin Farmstead. The toddler says, hi, Sister Kate. Hi, Franklin Farmstead toddler. Yes, Alpha Gal, and yes, borer. Well, bore with an R. Yeah, sorry to hear that. I haven't gotten that. Yes, SEAL team baptism. I like it. I mean, it's worth trying. They might be willing to go out and do it on an off-duty day. They've got a lot of knowledge about water. About the baptism, you need 2 strong men to carry you. No special equipment. There you go. I'm a Navy brat, says McMikey. Hey, Sister K, plus shot. Gotta go now. Much love from across the pond. A Viking warrior. All right, Sis Fist, thanks for dropping in. And bless you. Firemen carry for the baptism. Sure, that might work. Our crows watched out for our birds, said Soapy Acres. Westhold says he'll be right back. When the crows were cawing, there was trouble on the ground and sometimes in the sky. Well, mine are always cawing when I show up and they're flying away. I feel like they're doing something bad. I have to leave in a few minutes. I can listen while I get ready to leave. No worries. I might get going too, just to finish the project I'm working on with these black plastic. I have to spread out, and I think I have 4 or 5 of them in there. So it's not going to be just a little 5-minute rollout. It's going to take me time to carry them where they need to go, and then to spread them all out and to weigh them down with rocks. But they work great. I'm just letting you know. Okay, let's see what we got here. Okay. Spaghetti sauce finished and in the fridge to cool. Ooh, that sounds yummy. I have a Suki bear I have to sit with, so shalom. Okay, shalom to you. Freezer camp next. Any other opinions on the switching of the British leadership? I don't know that Aid gave an opinion. He may not want to give an opinion. Did 7 pints yesterday. Nice. Maybe you guys do just want to talk about food. It's on everyone's mind. Storing it up, getting it fresh, involving or helps keep you healthy. We're having pot pies for supper. Are you making them from scratch, or are they ones that you bought? My daughter-in-law makes a pretty mean chicken one. Pretty tasty. Let me think if there's anything else I want to say about Charles and Camilla. Oh, they're calling her the Queen Consort. That is Camilla's title. I think it will be like going from Trump to Biden, a negative outcome. There's a long, cold winter coming. Food storage is at the top of the mind. Well, luckily for us, I freeze mine in various sizes so I can grab and cook fresh when I come home from school, ready to sleep on the couch. Those kiddos wear me out. Oh, yeah, they would. They would. I wish I worked 40 hours a week. Oh, so, okay. My bad. What was I going to say? Let me go over your comments. Aid said something to the effect of could be a good opportunity for those across the pond to boost up their constitution and get things better squared away. Could be an opportunity for that. Oh, the long, cold winter. So I never said no such thing, EV. Somebody said it, EV. If it wasn't Aid, it was somebody on the chat. I do remember that comment. I did post, I reposted the This Just Happened video where Bear and some other brothers brought over a dump trailer full of wood. So having wood is essential to how warm Pastor and I stay in the wintertime. We prefer that kind of heat. Especially in the big wood stove, because then we can have hot water and I can bake at any time of the day while it's on. And so it's a big concern of ours. And so we've been really busy this summer. Pastor's been doing all sorts of outdoors kinds of things. And we didn't really have a lot of wood put up. We just had a little bit left over from last year. And I was actually getting pretty worried about it, because in the past, around June is when he starts cutting wood for the next upcoming year. And I don't know if he did. He must have done it in a Patreon video, or maybe he mentioned to the various shofarians on one of the Shabbat services. But they showed up with this big trailer full of wood, which was a great big blessing. And I told Bear, like, I'm not a crier, although I did cry the one time the piano fund happened. But I said, I'm not a crier, but if I were, I'd be crying right now because it just squared us away so well on the wood. And so the cold winter for me is now not as much a concern, because I know we're going to be warm. And we have the clothing and stuff and the blankets to all that, the daily going outside and everything. We've got that covered. We're fine in that area. So I'm feeling pretty good about that. And we don't eat that much anymore. The two of us were. All right, let's see. We just had a log truck drop off a full load of logs. Awesome, Hunter Kirk. Abe, no comment? That's okay. I get it if you don't want to. I've been canning everything I can get in a jar. That's awesome. I have a friend who has done that. She canned everything. And she still is. She wants to do potatoes in October, and I told her, I'm with you. I don't mind canning potatoes. I think potatoes is a good thing to have canned, and throw those things in a stew or a soup or something, or throw them in the frying pan and fry them up. That'd be an awesome thing. Oh, and I just planted stuff. You're still processing? Yeah, it's a big thing, Aid. It really is. I mean, I've been there. I've been in England for 2 times, and one of them was a semester in college. So that's months, right? Show up in August, leave in January or whatever. No, it was spring. So show up in January, leave in May. And I only, scratched the surface of the history, the culture, the society, the everything there. And I can still understand the enormity of it. Whether you loved her or didn't love her, it doesn't matter, because it's still a big deal for the country and the Commonwealth. And so I get that. It was Sisyphus. I would say it's a good time to make it a museum piece and relight the idea of a constitutional republic. How much wood and how much HK, if you don't mind? Have y'all done meat in a solar dehydrator? DNEX said. It's a good question. It's been a while since I bothered experimenting. I don't know that I did, but you certainly could. Yeah, I don't know if I've done meat in the solar dehydrator. I've done a lot of other things, and it works fine. It would be just like making jerky. Just cut it thin enough. How much wood can a PJ chuck if a PJ could chuck wood? Hey, he's been working really hard. They came on Sunday. Today is Thursday, and it will probably finish doing the wood that was there, which was a tree worth. I showed it in the video when he's back in Jack Up. There's already some rounds of wood there. That is from a tree that he had cut down in the backyard that he had moved up there. And then they dumped that whole trailer full. Now, I don't know how many cords of wood that is, but in our woodshed, it's at least 5 rows forward. We've never had 5 rows full in there. And I'm sure that will get us through the winter with wood left over, and he's still cutting and splitting the last of that big log. So it's a good amount. I would say at least 2 cords. And according to the brethren, there were 3 trees in the trailer. It's a good thing we have a king that will rule forever. Have a blessed day, everyone. Good to see you too, Greek Homestead. Yes, you are right. That was awesome, SK, that the brothers took care of your wood for the winter. It really was. It really was, and unexpected. They said they were bringing us something. We thought it was a medical thing, like medical refuge, something like that. No, totally different, totally awesome. $1,600. It will be about 10 cords when processed. 2 winters worth of wood. Man, 10 cords is a lot. 160 a cord's not a bad price. I think the last time we bought a cord of wood, which was years ago, was 120 a cord. There was just a hummingbird They like to fly around and tell me that I need to fill the feeder. I really need to get cutting wood. I really only burn about 4 ricks of wood a year. 4 ricks is not a whole lot of wood, and yet it's nice when you know you have it, so it's not weighing on your mind. We have 2 huge oaks on our land that will need to come down. We're going to be set for a couple of years once we move back out there. Yes, you are. And oak burns hot. It's a nice log that'll burn hot and last a while. Always good to see the Greek Homestead because she's got a totally different take on everything. And I forgot to tell her, there's now an Italian lady in our Shabbat group, and she was pretty impressed that I was born in the a little island out in the Mediterranean. There's a Prepper Frog. Salutations. Good to see you, Prepper Frog. How are things going with you? My sister lives in Germany, said her oil heating bill were close to $6,000. Yeah, Pastor clued me in on that one, I think. Maybe not. Maybe it was Palmetto or Brother Chris. That Germany and Europe, countries in Europe, I may have even done a live stream or a video on it, are going to be hard pressed for heating oil because of the Russia-Ukraine thing. And so they are starting to enact, as they are kind of socialist countries, like limits on how much you can heat your house, limits on how much you're supposed to buy. Most of it is not codified law right now. Most of it is the government is suggesting or telling you that you can't, raise your heating thermostat above 65 degrees and things like that. But it's a reality that when you're not getting the fuel you need for heating, you're going to be cold, especially in Europe. There's Linda Hipple. Shalom, Sister Kate and crew. Shalom. Prepping harder than ever. Canning chicken tonight. Thank you. Smart. Are you doing raw pack canning or hot pack canning? And where did you get your chicken? Did you butcher it yourself or did you buy it? I canned chicken last year under Trump. There was a farm to table kind of program where they were giving out free food in locations all over the states, and a sister got in on that, and we got a bunch of chicken and canned some of it. I heard Germany is importing wood from the US to make pellets. Have not confirmed it yet, but sounds to be true. Well, we do have a lot of wood. Raw with cooked bacon. I'm not a pork bacon eater, but I like the turkey and the beef bacon. It's a good flavor. Got to pressure cook something like that, though. You can't water bath can something like that. Meat's got to be pressure canned an hour and a half, I think. That's what all the companies do that sell things like chili in a can and soup in a can. I told him, buddy, he was stupid because he was getting a pellet stove. He lives in the woods surrounded by trees. I agree with you, Westhold. I agree with you 100%. Adds a lot of flavor. Beef bacon is the best bacon. It is pretty darn yummy. All right. Beef bacon. Drool. You can make it with, it's not London broil. It's one of those big, greasy cuts of beef. I can't remember the name of it. They sell like 30-pound package of it. 75 minutes for a small jar. Yep. Importing wood that far isn't what you would call green. Well, and think about this. I mean, seriously, the world could work so much better. Who has a whole lot of woods and needs money? Russia. Siberia is just woods, acres and millions of whatever you want to call it, of wood. And yet, because of politics and whatever power plays, I'm sure Russia's not selling wood to anybody for fuel either. Sadly, with this alpha gal stuff, I can't eat anything from a mammal. Man, I think I've had friends who have had that. They could no longer eat chicken or steak. They basically had to become vegetarians. I'm so sorry that happened. Brisket, Hunter Kirk, that's the one. Brisket. I said it before even J. Johns put a recipe out for it. Beef bacon could be made from brisket just because brisket has so much of the fat, and he makes it from brisket. I mean, bacon is just smoked salted meat. So you could smoke and salt any meat and it's going to sort of taste like bacon, right? Salted smoked meat. So, yeah, brisket. The stomach part, I can't remember the name either. Beef bacon is not bacon in the same way that a soy hamburger is not hamburger. Come up with a new name. It sure is, Westhold. You just fry it up and it's got the same flavor. It's greasy and crunchy and yummy. It's really good. Maybe call it breakfast brisket. Whatever. There's mutton wrong with beef bacon. I bet you can make mutton taste better too if you just smoked it and salted it. Yep, 90 minutes for meat in a pressure canner. Yep. How do I know this? You can salt and smoke fish, and then you get deliciousness. Exactly right. Smoked salmon and stuff like that is very tasty. Shoot, they even sell... Now, most cheeses have to be salted at some time. They're usually aged in a brine or something because it helps dry up all the moisture. And so it can become a block of cheese. But they sell smoked cheese too. I mean, you can pretty much smoke anything. You could have smoked apple. I don't know that it would taste great, but you could. A restaurant near me has lamb bacon. I want to try it. Oh, dude. I'm going to say 2 more comments and then I do need to go. The sun is also starting to climb up the porch and it's going to get too hot for me to sit here. 2 things about lamb. J. Johns makes them a delicious beef bacon. See, told you. Freeze-dried London broil is awesome. Good to know, Hunter Kirk. So, Pastor and I were driving along a very rednecky, normal, middle America highway and stopped to get gas and went inside. And instead of having a McDonald's, greasy, blocky, whatever, the food person at this gas station was an Indian restaurant. Dot Not Feather. And they had on their menu naan bread and all that, but they also had different curries, which I love curry. And one of them was goat curry. No lie. And they also had a lamb curry. So I ordered that and it was delicious. It was so good. So lamb is the new beef. I'm here to tell y'all, with so many Torah observant people not wanting to eat pork anymore, lamb is on the way up. And it's still, if you go to auction, lamb goes for 4 times what beef or goat goes for. So lamb is a good thing. It's really yummy. Grilled pineapple is good. I bet smoked apples would be, smoked pineapple would be good. And then what was the other thing you said? Lamb bacon, freeze-dried London broil. J. Johns, love curry, love some lamb curry. Hello, friend, John Huji. John, I'm just about to get offline. I'm so sorry. You're coming in and I wish I could stay and have conversation, but it's getting too warm and I have things to do. Those were the 2 things I wanted to say about lamb. Lamb curry, delicious. Lamb, to raise it and sell it, it's good money nowadays. And I think it's going to continue to go up because it's an alternative meat that people haven't had in a long time. And all of us Torah observant folks are going to eat that over pork. We have a hibachi grill in the gas station next to me. Love those hidden treasure restaurants. Ooh, yummy. By the way, I went to a Long John Silver's the other day and I wasn't impressed. Oh, okay. No curry on a road trip, just in case. My kid, too funny. Aid, yes. Long John Silver's, they try, but it's too salty by far. Nobody ever gets the chips right. Did I tell you I went to the one fish and chips place? If I did, then I will not make that comment. Donka, understand? Have a great day, everyone. Thanks. See ya, Hunter Kirk. Did you try the new fish and chips place you were talking about the other day? Yes, I did, Westhold. It wasn't terrible. They over fried the fish, which is what they did at the last restaurant I went to. The outside of the fish and chips should not be dark brown. However, they were cooking cod, which is a plus. The outside of it was crunchy, which was a plus, and their chips, of course, were nothing like they're supposed to be, but they weren't terrible either. They were kind of like the ones that Burger King has right now, which are okay tasty. So I would give it sort of a B- grade. If I go through again, oh, and I didn't like their sauerkraut. There's not sauerkraut, coleslaw, way too sweet. Way too sweet. Just terrible. I don't want my coleslaw to be a dessert. I probably would try it again, and if they get the fish golden brown instead of dark brown, I'll probably even go up to a B. But it wasn't, and I don't know why I would expect anyone who's not British in America to understand how to make this stuff exactly correctly. Aid, there's another job thing for you. You could open a chip shop, do it near Dallas or something. You could probably make a fortune. I'm a huge curry fan, and yep, lamb is where it's at. Okay. West Indian and Jamaican restaurants make some good curry goat and curry lamb. Yes, they do. Have a great end of day, SK and PJ. Thanks for the live stream. Glad you could stop by, Prepper Frog. Always good to see you. Most restaurants are terrible. Have a peaceful afternoon. I've goofed off long enough. Back to typing, said the lane keeper. Don't eat pork, but I sure do wish I could do beef. It's chicken and beef for me. Try lamb. Maybe you can have it. Might be worth a Greyhound ticket then. You could try it. I don't want you to be disappointed. But I mean, it wasn't awful. So that's a plus. Lamb salami is yummy. When living in Germany, made a lamb salami. Ooh, yum. And salami is really the flavoring too. So SK, so good visiting with you this afternoon. I think there are dishes I am avoiding. Sounds familiar. Bye-bye. Enjoyed all the chat. Internet crash and Cellnet same time. Wow. Probably overloaded, Norm. We're going to run. There's a place not far from me that is selling a local beef, lamb, pork, and chicken. I got a package of the Italian lamb. It was pretty good. Cool. We spear carp or use a 22. Carp's huge. They're such great big fish. All right, y'all. Bless y'all. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for coming to the live stream. I think it's worth watching what happens in England just because. Just because they're having a power switchover. And it could influence what's going on in that country, and they're one of our biggest allies. All right, bless you all. I'm going to sign up. I'm getting cooked. Shalom, 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 shalom. Thanks for the 5 stars. Yes, I do want to stop streaming.